Well, hello and welcome. And you could say it's a happy day, or say happy days at least. Well, we're approaching happy days. 3 weeks ago, well, just about 3 weeks ago, the media fraternity in Ghana decided to be Ghanaian. We let go of all our lineages and our beliefs and our inclinations and decided that let's come together to save one aspect of Ghana, a very important aspect of Ghana, the environment, which is literally Ghana, because when it goes, we are gone. And so we put out all our differences, all our political and religious divide, and said, you know what, the environment must be saved. And there was a hashtag, Stop Galamsey, hashtag, No More Mining, hashtag, and all the hashtags saying that whatever it is, we do not want any more mining. And the government responded. I didn't think they could do anything, but they did. They gave a 3 weeks ultimatum. I thought it was a bit pathetic. You know, somebody's poisoning your water. You don't give them 3 weeks, that carry on poisoning it for the next 3 weeks while you think of what to do next. But 3 weeks came to pass, and we are told many of the excavators that were 520 excavators, amazing, have been coming out of the forests and the bushes into Accra. So a great majority are complying with it. The government is showing a lot of seriousness in this. And I just hope and wish that my brothers and sisters within the media fraternity have realized how much power it is that they wield and how much they can influence the discourse in the nation and the thinking of the nation. So kudos to all who joined in the hashtag Stop Galamsey, because results are coming. It's not over yet until the lady whistles. I'm not going to say what lady, but until the lady whistles, we need to keep the steam on, keep the pressure on until such time that the environment is absolutely safe and on a recovery path. So I thank you all who joined in this campaign, and I'm saying, do not relent. Let us continue the fight. It's not over yet. Ending Galamsey is our topic tonight. My name is Nana Sakwal the fourth, Akwamu Edumasahini, and your favorite TV show host. When I come back, I'll introduce my guest who was at the forefront of this fight. Don't go.
Should rather listen to what we, the Minerals Commission, will tell them to do. If they come to us and we give them place to work, they will have no problem. Because one, we will give them a place that we know that they are working. And we will be directing them as to how they should be working. By so doing, nobody will work near or into the underlying water bodies. And all their muddy waters will be well contained, and they will not be polluting the environment. That is what we've been asking people to do. But when we have the case where somebody just jump in here, as we can see, nobody has issued any license here or a permit here for them to work. So if you come here to work, and as we can see also, here is a swampy area. This place leads to a nearby stream. So once they work and all their muddy waters and the underlying water bodies here get polluted, and then we are all at a loss as a nation.
But you are in the area. You're supposed to work for the commission, and you live within the area. You pass here every day. This is not your first time maybe you've seen this activity. This things have been ongoing. Have you made any attempt of coming closer to this guy and tell them, look, my friend, you've not been given a license, even whether you are given a license or not. Now there's a thin line between those you gave the license and those that were not given the license at all. Have you ever made that attempt of coming to the side and say, look, my guy, what you're doing is wrong? Have you, as a worker of the commission?
Yes, that one we will, like you said, if I have had the chance to pass here, definitely you would have seen. We will not look at some of these things, we will not look at it unconcerned. If some person, as you can see, while we were driving towards this place, it's not an area, this is the road that we don't normally pass. If this place is very close to the road, if we have had a chance of passing here, we would have come to stop. Now that all of us as a nation have seen, I would have even employed you, the pressman, to also be our informant. I tell you.
But
Yeah.
we are not here with you. You know that this particular area, for this site alone, they do not have the license to operate. So what exactly is stopping you as a body to stop them from working here?
I tell you honestly that if I had been here, if I had passed here, this equipment, I would have asked that it be removed.
I'm asking, what is stopping you from coming here?
You mean now?
Yes.
Well,
Not now,
before, not that I don't come here, but I do go to other areas. And what I'm saying, if I have had the chance to pass here, I mean, such a thing wouldn't happen.
Will you close this down? Will you close this down?
For us, there is a sustainable way of managing this, and that is where the MMIP, is going to come in, which is a 5-year program. It's a project to make sure that we sanitize the whole system. Those that are coming out immediately, we are collecting data. Reclamation is going to be the immediate thing to be done, and that will involve provision of some livelihood as people keep on saying, what do you do to them? Reclamation, of course, it's going to provide money, an alternative to the activity that they are going to do.
Do you have any plans of
How soon is the MMIP going to be?
The MMIP is in force already. I mean, the rationale for the MMIP is a multilateral mining integration project. And this is the involvement of everybody. There are certain processes that will involve. For instance, we're going to introduce immediately excavators that are going to work in every small-scale mining site will need to have a permit. Because you can see clearly what is happening is that some of the small-scale miners who have license or the illicit miners who do not have license go beyond that to go and rent an excavator. And so the source of the excavator is different from the owner who is doing the digging or the actual work. Now we are saying that you need a permit for both the excavator and the person who is even going to do it. Now getting the permit for the excavator is going to mandate us to do the tracking that we've been talking about. So as you are going to get a permit for the excavator, there's going to be tracking devices on the excavator. This will monitor us to do it properly. Please, let me tell you, this action, it's not a one-day action. It's going to be a sustainable and long period approach, and that is why we're saying the MMIP is going to be a 5-year program to totally sanitize the whole system.
How are we going to monitor these things? Because one thing that came up during our visit to some of these areas is monitoring.
Precisely, I agree with you. You realize in some of the sites, our engineers there are one person in an office, monitor almost about 34 areas of small scale, which is of course not possible. I have engaged my CEO, and immediately we're going to procure motorbikes for some of these areas. We need at least a minimum of 4 people in some of the district offices. We're going to employ people as quickly as possible. We have to look for the money. Tony, we need to do that. It's very important because the monitoring is key. One person cannot be responsible for a huge area like that. How can he do it? And again, my worry again is to my good friends, the police officers that we spoke to. I mean, what is happening is lawlessness. You don't need Tony and myself or my deputy minister to come and tell you that what is happening in your district, you need to act. The police officers are there. The law enforcement agencies are there. Lawlessness has nothing to do with the minister responsible for mines. They have to act immediately. And I'm extremely grateful to the CJ, for coming out with these 12 courts that have been established to deal with 14 courts to deal and process illegal Galamsey cases. Of course, that is a swift reaction, and I'm extremely grateful for that. We are going to go after this guy. We'll keep on going after them. They should not think that they are going back. But I want to say that I'm extremely happy for having lived up to the 21-day expectations of the duration we've given them. That is good enough. We will come back and talk to them, but for now, they shouldn't go back.
Perception
at one of the sites,
some of these
at one of the sites you described
are being compromised in one way or the other. How do you address this issue?
Well, Professor, I agree with you. You saw our district manager we met today, Yao. Where is Yao? Yao, this is the gentleman we met today, heavily drunk. And so how can such a person, be responsible for what we are doing? And we are asking that he should be immediately transferred back to Accra. He is going to work in my office. I'm going to put him in my office. If you put people like this to work, there's no way you can expect any accuracy in terms of monitoring. So I agree with you. The difficulty have to do with some of the people we have on the site. So monitoring is a problem. And immediately we're going to enlarge the numbers of people we have. One person is not enough for a huge area like
the cameraman won't show us Yao, so we don't even know who Yao is, and Yao is supposed to be drunk, and all these mining is going on, and Yao is there drunk. But thank you very much for staying with me in the studio. It's Ken Ashigbe, MD for Graphic Communication Group, who indeed championed this cause all throughout, personally, through his media, everything, with his social network. everything he championed the cause. And here we are with the results. Ken, you're welcome.
Thank you very much, Nana.
And congratulations.
Well, I'm not too sure. I think it's too early to say congratulations.
Well, it's a huge step. Ken, it's a huge step because normally, they won't bat an eyelid though.
But I think we need to commend the minister. You see, you saw the minister now become the person who was interviewing, and I pray the gentleman in the helmet and the glasses does also not carry the same title I carry, ING, who's an engineer. But definitely that's dereliction of duty. That way he does not pass that he needs to pass that before he supervises the work he's supposed to do. And I'm really, Minister, I'm not also too sure that somebody who's drunk on duty, the best thing should be transferred to the head office. And I think those policemen who, definitely there's a law enforcement angle to it, and I'm hoping that today is day 2. Anybody in the pit today, I hope some arrests have been done. I want to be able to hear tomorrow how many people have been arrested and are heading towards the 14 courts that have been put in place. But definitely this is a good step. But for all of us in this business, the minister, the media, everybody, it's just the beginning. But it's good, in any war situation to celebrate the little battles that you win. So I think that's why we would have to say that this is good, to see a minister very attacking this thing very frontally. We need to give him all the support that he requires to ensure that this happens. My heart also goes out to the Chief Justice, without any prompting from anybody at all, decisive step. And I hope that it's a signal to the judges who are going to sit on this case that we're not going to countenance some of those things that we saw, and we as the media, we're giving them our commitment that we will support those who are doing the good thing, but we will definitely also expose those people who would not want to do what is right.
Now, let me deviate a little bit. I mean, this has been a clear case where the media set the agenda. For far too long, we just sit and wait. Politicians set the agenda. And most of the agendas politicians set, majority of the time,
parochial interest. Yes. Very short term. Yeah. Our politicians have demonstrated to us that they are the next elections. That's all they look at. They don't look at the next generation. So I think maybe there'll be a few times, and especially when I'm in a multimedia house, where some agendas have been set. You look at the issue of the Konfanoche, exactly, that's example of it. But I think you're right when you say together as the Ghanaian media, the fourth estate of the realm, we have demonstrated to ourselves the power that we have to do good. And for me, I've always believed it, that the media is a powerful tool for development, and this is one of the things that we're showing, but it's just the beginning, and we need to ensure at this stage that we're going to unleash all our investigative powers and ensure that we can go behind the scenes and find the people who are involved in this. Now, me and you know that this thing is a leadership failure. It's a law enforcement issue, it's a leadership failure. If you can get one of your ilk, one of the chiefs, prosecute this person and jail him. Get one of the politicians, get some police people, get the big people who we know are behind these things, and ensure that the law goes its full hog. You'll find out that most of these things will stop.
It's just iron out. Let me stay with the media a bit. Should we as a fraternity, as we came together and said, listen, let's kick out Galamsey, probably put number 2, child protection, put number 3, have a little agenda and say, look, no, after we've got maybe 80% of the environment sorted, we are going for child protection, and that's where you need to go fix. And then maybe get them to work. Otherwise, it's going to be business as usual.
I think I agree with you. Somebody has said that, could we expand even this project and make it something about lawlessness, so you finish this and you go. I think it's something that's worth doing, and I am hoping that organizations like the GJA, to which we all belong, now at least we take courses and decide that this is the course all of us would pursue and have a plan behind it, that is targeted as a development of all of us as a country. I think that otherwise, most of the noise we make, most of the conversations on radio we have allowed the politicians to dictate the pace. And all they have been focused on is how they win the next elections, forgetting about how we develop as a country. And I'm sure if we, the media, are able to do this, our development would be speeded up.
Because it is said that politicians have never built any nation.
None.
It is civil society that raises up. Unfortunately, we've left so much of the civil society behind that the critical mass have shrunk. So maybe the media now has become the critical mass who have to fight for the change. Well, I say, you know, kudos to all media men who, you know, jumped onto this. But so what's going to happen next?
Well, you see, we need to have a strategy in this battle, because in this war, it's not a battle, and so the strategy has to be multifaceted. And but first, you know, critical in all of this, I say to my colleagues in the media, is that we need to name, shame, and push for jail. That should be one of the critical things that we, as media, we need to do. Two, we also need to galvanize the people. So critically, like tomorrow, what we're saying to all multi-TV viewers, all, you know, Ghanaians, is that tomorrow it's a Red Friday. Let's say Yenyabre, you know, I mean, Kojang, anywhere you can, any part of your body, any part of your apparel that can be red. Let's all go out and demonstrate to everybody, the people who are involved in the Galamsey, the leadership who have to take action, minister who is taking action, the Chief Justice, that we support the actions they're doing. Those who are also trying to detract us, we need to let them know that, you know, our eyes are red. So for tomorrow, we all want to wear red. We also have started a petition where we're collecting signatures. What we want to do is to get like a million Ghanaians signing up so that we can put all of that together and present it to His Excellency the President, to the Speaker of Parliament, to the Chief Justice, to tell them that this is just a sample of Ghanaians who want their water bodies clean, who want their environments put together, who want the challenges that we're having. You know, now the challenge is that even most of the people you see in the pit, I see them as victims. The water research people will tell you that some of their work they've done, samples that they've taken of the skin, blood samples that they've taken, urine samples that they've taken, bread that they bought had contaminants in them. You know, and the scary part is that most of the time it's been mercury, but now they're moving towards cyanide. And me and you know that cyanide is deadly. It's not like mercury that is gradual, that is causing a lot of impotence amongst our people. That you go into the places in Takwa where some of them, because of the silica content, there's a new form of tuberculosis that is starting now, that is affecting the bones. And all of this, our people are also not able to link, you know, what is happening to them with the things that are befalling them now. So they themselves are victims. There's education that we need to do. So on the 4th of May, all of us as media will be meeting the CSIR, especially the water research people, for them to share some of this knowledge with us so that we can also then educate our people. We need to let them realize that it's a really frightening thing, what we have done. Because when you speak to some of them, what they tell you is that, if you ask them what water are they going to drink when they are destroying the water bodies, they'll tell you they'll drink from the borehole, they'll drink pure water, you know, sachet water, forgetting that currently the contamination is gotten into the underground water, forgetting that most of these sachet water, and especially in the rural areas, even in Accra, some of these water producers are not even testing their water. The contaminants are in there. So in terms of strategy, and then another thing we want to do is, you know, we don't want to only leave the campaign on air and in Accra. So on the 31st of May, we also want to have a major dialogue where we bring various stakeholders together to come start talking solutions, because, you know, the livelihood thing keeps coming up. There's the health issues, there's agric issues, there's a national security element. So we need to bring people together. We're hearing the minister also tell us about the plan that they have, the 5-year plan. We need all of those reduced into specific milestones, telling us who is going to do what, when they are going to do that, so that for us, the media, we can follow through. So that will happen on the 31st of May. But we want to also go down to the areas that these things are happening and have some town hall meetings. So we want to go to Chebi. We want to go to Chebi, then we want to go to, there's a town in the western region which has become a Chinatown. You know, we want to go into places like this and have these dialogues in these places. And then critically too, we want to be able to put together the editors, the presenters, and the producers so that they also form another layer, you know, where they themselves can have programs for themselves so that, you know, we are able to ensure that we sustain this. And then we are also trying to see if we can talk to the technology people to create a repository where we can put information. So when Anna wants to do a program, he knows where he can go to be able to get information. And also we need to share information among ourselves. So PM Express, that's a program that is good. It's uploaded into that place. Somebody, graphic, can take it, do a transcript out of that. The only thing we need to do is to make sure we do a credit back to, you know, PM Express. So we want to do this in a collaborative way, but with a plan, with a strategy. In all of this, the other thing is also that we know that for us in the media, a lot of you are spending critical, you know, time. We need to find a way of funding. So it will be difficult for us to start funding, you know, those town hall meetings ourselves. So we need to start looking for partners who would help us fund this. For me, I tell the people in my steering committee, this is not a committee where you're coming to come and get sitting allowance. It's not part of the agenda. If anybody is going to fund anything, it's going to fund specific things that we're going to do. Currently, most of the things we're doing it out of the various company, you know, media houses. We're funding them ourselves. But to be able to go down onto the ground, are things that we need to do. But it's not only us, you know, so we shouldn't only say media. We also have NCC now wanting to partner us. They've done a lot of work. So in terms of the groundwork, we're working with them even with these town hall meetings. They're also helping us with collecting of the signatures and all of that. IPR are also supporting us. So in terms of the statements and things that we're going to put together, they're going to do that. Ghana Institution of Engineers on the 27th are planning an event as well. And we also would want to support anything. So it's something that we think that everybody in Ghana, this is one of the projects that there are two sides. There's no middle ground. So you're either for Ghana or you're against Ghana.
The other thing is, was it too easy? I gave you 3 weeks to leave, and 3 weeks, excavators are on the tracks coming down. Hold on. All these years that the waters are drying up, forests are being, that's all it is. Just, I'm giving you 3 weeks to leave.
No, it just took two things. It just took the media to say that enough was enough, and the fact that this is something that we're really going to push. So it gave impetus to the minister who had come to say that this is something we're going to do, because, you know, Joy FM was doing it, City FM was doing it. There were some articles that were in the graphic. Everybody had, even Peace FM has started something. So there was a groundswell in the media before even the coalition was formed, where there was a lot of conversation. So it's just the laser principle, where if you shine light, focus it on one particular place, you definitely are going to cut a hard substance. So that's what has happened. But definitely leadership, it's cost, you know what I mean? And so the minister has taken it. We've heard the president speak, because you should not lose sight of the fact that we heard the voice of the president during the campaign period talking something else about not, you know, NEC. So what changed? For the politicians, the media, we should know that definitely they listen to us, because they know the people who vote for them listen to us. So we should not take our power for granted. And we need to say it as it is.
Should it end, or do we go for the big mines as well? Because even though the big mines are quiet, they do a lot of damage as well, with regards to spillages. I mean, should Ghana get to a stage where, look, let's ban metal mining, or has extreme strict regulation, send people to school and develop brains, and they'll make equal money?
I think, Nana, this is a conversation that we need to have. But I think the first question you asked, should we leave the large mines alone? No. So I'm hoping that for us, the media, as we go along, we will start looking at what it is that the big mines are supposed to have done, what reclamations are supposed to have happened. We need to go back there and see what exactly it is that they're doing. The good thing is that with the big mines, you know, most of them are listed companies, so it is easy to go at them. Once we get the evidence and we put it out that this is what they're doing, it would work. And you know, the interesting thing, there's a critical partner that we are getting in all of this, a team from the law school who are willing to work with us in partnership. I spoke with Fo Amoni Moses, and one of the plan is that we need to start getting at the people who are benefiting from this business. So one of the people they're looking at are the banks. Where are the finances being, channeled towards? And we don't even tackle them. If they're international banks, we don't start dealing with them even in Ghana. We start dealing with them internationally. Which are the companies who are manufacturing? We've seen Caterpillar. We've seen all of these heavy moving equipment. So we start looking at them. So this advocacy is not just a passive one. There's an element of activism as well, where we would push for some class actions, because we can demonstrate the effect. The interesting thing, our water bodies have gone bad in just 10 years. It's just 10 years that all of this has happened. So we need to move beyond just the passive one. There's those elements that we also can do. So with the big minds, we can go at them. Those who have desecrated the land and are doing nothing about them, where we also have the spillages going into we need to be able to bring all of this and demonstrate to these people that, you can't come here and come and mine in ways that you don't do in your country. My question I ask myself, what happened between Obuasi and Johannesburg? What is the difference? It's the same mining that has gone in there. And
same product.
Exactly, same product.
Almost about the same quantities.
Exactly, that they are taking out. And so when we do the Galamsey thing, most of the small-scale mining is done by Ghanaians, and the large-scale mining are done by foreigners. So we cannot say we're being hard on ourselves if we know that the large-scale miners are also poisoning our land. We need to go after them as well. And we in all of this, another thing you mentioned is that we need to start diversifying our focus on just mining. A typical example for us is Dubai. What happened? How did Dubai start? Was oil, but currently Dubai is not oil again. So as Ghanaians, we need to do some heavy lifting. We need to do some critical thinking and start saying that what are things that we can do that are sustainable, in which we can get Ghanaians being at the top of it. Because tell me, we started gold. How many Ghanaians have we produced? Billionaires have we produced from gold? We started cocoa. How many Ghanaians have we produced from that? Oil has started. Trust me, with the way we're going, I'm not too sure. So how do we start thinking in such a way that we empower the Ghanaians to be at the height of the things that happen? Because you see, and one of the critical things that have changed in all this gold thing is when the foreigners started getting into the small-scale mining, when we started introducing the chamfans into the equation. But who brought them? Most of them were the foreigners.
That was one of the sad part, that they are only here to bring technology. After 157 years, the Chinese have to bring technology. That alone was an indictment before you even went into the water bodies. But I'm going to take a quick break and say, listen, even though we are very, very upset with water bodies, how about forest reserves? Don't go. Well, thank you very much for staying and ending Galamsey's topic. But when we opened, I was saying that the cameraman did not pick Yao, who was drunk. Now, coincidentally, my director is called Yao, and there's a camera here. So there are people who think that my director may have been drunk and I was calling for a shot of him. No, when Peter Amewu, the minister, was going on the side, there was a forestry commission inspector who was drunk on duty. And indeed, he was asking him to be transferred to his office. I just got a WhatsApp saying, why should he be transferred? Are there no company rules? I'm sure getting drunk on the job will be an instant sack somewhere. Doesn't need any transfer. So there's no Yao Forcing. Yao Forcing is not drunk. He's very alert and directing the show beautifully, as you can see. But with me in the studio is Ken Ashigbe. And Ken, forest reserves. A place like Etiwa Forest, where I am here, I'm told people have already, gone too close for comfort. Etiwa Forest, with all its blessings, and all 25 million of us to come together on the table, and the best decision is that, well, let's mine it. That's another indictment.
It's sad, and the interesting thing is you approach the forest and it looks all green, but they get into the middle And, you know, I mean, that's where they're doing all the damage. And we're losing a lot out of that. And it's critical. And for me, I know there's been some conversation about some bauxite, you know, finds in, you know, forest areas like this in Etiwa. And some of these things, I think as a people, we really need to look at it and say, really, should the bauxite come and then the forest go? Currently, we're importing even timber. And you know the implications of damage to the forest. A typical place is my village in Chama. Chama used to have good rain, you know, and then we used to have what we call Ava, you know, it was a forest, you know, but it was a sacred forest. And, you know, so for the traditional people, you don't go there and cut anything. If the wood falls, you could pick it up. Now we say we've gone to school. We say Christianity has come. Tabula rasa came and everything traditional we threw aside. We started cutting the trees. There's no rainfall in Chama anymore. Yeah. There's a lot of, you know, really we can't even farm in Chama. And so we really need to look again and see whether we want to go the ways of El Salvador, you know, where they would rather prefer clean water than some of these mines. And especially when we do it, really the benefit goes out, you know, there's very little coming into it. So the damage to the forest, it's enormous. And I'm praying that, as the minister said, one of the immediate things they're going to do is reclamation. It's not only cleaning the water bodies, but we also need to start reclaiming our forest. The critical thing is that some of them are even scientific places where, you know, the CSIR and things have projects there, but because they want to mine, they're even mining and going into the cemeteries now, you know.
And, you know, people don't believe, but, you know, Haiti was once upon a time a very, very green and tropical land. And they, you know, literally logged their forests dry. To the point that now Haiti is,
it's gone,
you know, at the mercy of any weather.
Everything.
Next door to Barbados, but the slightest wind and Haiti's gone.
It's gone.
And Barbados is always intact. There's no protection. So it's real where you can literally deforest a whole country. But I hope that as we are shouting about water, they should know that we are talking about the
environment. It's generally the environment.
Generally the environment.
Yeah.
Do we have see, I've watched interviews where people from the mining, those who are mining, get upset. Are they more than us, or are we more than them?
I think, Nana, that's the point that we all need to demonstrate to them. Then if, you know, I've seen some videos, some curveballs being thrown, and they are telling some of the politicians that we voted for you. We should also tell the politicians that more of us voted for you who are against Galamsey than these people. So if you're going to choose them, we are also going to vote against you. And for me, you know, and we need to make that case. Definitely they cannot be more than us. It's a PR game, so you hear a lot of numbers being thrown about. Now, I don't know how many people you know who are involved in Galamsey. You know what I mean? So yes, there are some good numbers in there. But the thing we also need to know is that there are a lot of foreigners who are in there. You know, and so the indigenous Ghanaians, and most of the indigenous Ghanaians who are in it, I'm sure you saw the video of the Bronxy, the famous Bronxy man. He was paying people
after the petition. Did you see his next video?
Well, I've not seen that,
but, heard about it.
But I've heard about it. And interestingly, today I got the CID had come to me 2 days ago. They brought me a statement form to complete, and they were also asking me that if I knew where Bronxy was, you know, I should let them know. If I know where the video was shot.
East Legon.
East Legon. But interestingly, they've gone to East Legon, and they tell me that the intelligence people have gone on the ground. And even where he used to hang around, he's no more there. He's run away. You know what I mean? So that's a cowardice. But he, you know, he lives in East Legon. And our unfortunate victims who are in the pits are there, and he's paying them only the 80 cedis, 50 cedis. You know, so definitely the Bronxies and things who are benefiting from it. It's not the people on the ground. So even if you look at the people who are benefiting, it's the people who are buying the gold and selling it, you know, on the bigger markets. But there's another video of some two young boys who had gone to mine, and they went to this fetish priest's house, a traditional priest house. And they're going to sell the gold to him. So what he does is that he has mercury in a bottle. He pours it in the palms of these young boys. Yeah. They put it into a bowl, put the thing in there, and they are rubbing it with their bare fingers. They finish and they burn it up. All the fumes are going into these kids, boys. what do you think is going to happen to them? So even when they say the people who are involved, most of them are victims themselves. But the people who benefit are just a few of them. And they will throw these curveballs as a definitely that more of us who are being poisoned without asking for it than these people who are benefiting from it. Another thing, you saw the Chinese who were arrested on the Ankobra. I pray they are moved immediately from the secondary court into one of these dedicated courts so that we can see an end to that case. What were they holding? They were holding bottles of water. They were not drinking the Ankobra that they were polluting. But our people, what's happening to them? Now, if you're going to farm, we're even carrying sachet water, which itself has a lot of contaminants in it. So those who are benefiting from the illegality are less than those of us. And so all of us as Ghanaians, we need to start raising our voices. The unfortunate thing is that some of us think we'll stay so far away so we are not affected. But see, apart from the lake Bosomche and the water bodies all around them that flow into every water body in Ghana flows into the sea. So once the mercury gets into them, those things, they don't degrade. They go into, so even if you don't eat river fish, they flow into the sea. You get fish from there. We're all supposed to say, okay, we want to eat healthy, we're eating fish. They go into the seep into the ground. The food that is being produced, the vegetables that are being produced, all of that poisoning is getting into us. I am pretty sure that by the 4th of May, when we do the CSR thing, a lot of us will start rethinking and saying that we, the middle class, who have become docile, we come from these areas, we're living in the big cities, we're not going back, we are causing major damage to ourselves. And we need to let them know that more of us, there's more of us than there are them.
I had an interview with Waka, Mrs. Cranting, and was giving me some stats, and sometimes I think 2014 or I forgot, I'm not too sure, but basically we make more out of bushmeat than we make from gold.
You see, but then I look at all the things that we do, all the things, and you see, and all of this, what it is doing to us. What's happened to, when you travel across the Pra and you see the way the river is, the livelihood that we used to get from the Pra, where it's all of that gone to. Interestingly, you find a cocoa farmer who has a large tract of farm, which his predecessors, his ancestors have lived on. They've taken care of them. People have gone to school. We're selling them for what? 40,000 Ghana cedis. And they will take that 40,000 Ghana cedis and go and buy some trotro somewhere. After a while, it breaks down. Where is the sustainability? So we see we need to be able to compute in real terms for people to see that the benefits we get out of other things that are sustainable are better than what we're getting. And interestingly, Nana, gold is exhaustive. Once they dig it out of the ground, it is gone. So what are you going to do? What are your people going to live on? So what is going, and then for me, another scary part of it is that most of these, especially the foreigners who are coming, they are armed. So they are mining the gold, they have the guns they are protecting with it, so there's something coming. What would happen when the gold runs out? What are they going to use those guns for as well? Are we asking those questions? Our farmlands, we're losing our farmlands, so food security is a major problem. The challenges we're getting with cocoa is also because a lot of the cocoa lands, are going. So we need to look at it very holistically. Another scary part is the fact that our actions are polluting the waters in Côte d'Ivoire, to the extent that the people of Côte d'Ivoire are now saying that they can't even treat some of their water bodies for water anymore. That is Kofi Annan's thing of saying that the next war that's going to happen is going to come from water. That is it right there. So what we need to do as media is to be able to do a lot more research and join the threads together so that people would know that this thing that you're doing, yes, you used to sell tomato in the past, you say you were getting 50 cedis. Now when I go to the Galamsey pit, I get 150 cedis. That's the argument they make. But you get the 150 cedis, for how long are you going to get that? When you go to the hospital and there's some cancer that you have, how are you going to treat yourself? So it is important that we really demonstrate to the people who are involved in this, who seem to be selling their birthright for broth, that this is not sustainable.
I mean, speaking to the guys who make Frito, Wilma Ghana Limited, based in Tema, and I was shocked at how desperate they are for palm. And that with all the Frito they make, only 20% of the palm comes from Ghana, 80% imported. And they are desperate. I mean, they want you to plant, they will supervise you, they will help you. Just plant the palm and they will buy. So all this idea about my father didn't look after me, my mother didn't look after me, and the land is there instead of degrading it. But again, Ken, who leads this? Because, you know, I don't see how Wilma can probably lead this charge. So who should lead it to say, look, these guys are looking for this, and therefore let us champion some palm revolution?
Leadership. It's leadership, and that's why we elect some people. So the political leadership. I am hoping that with, you know, this project that the MPP has launched, are great for food and jobs, we'll start looking at this. And I am also hoping that we'll start moving away from the whole thinking where it is about just producing commodities that we're going to export somewhere. It should be about value addition, because it cannot be said that, you know, we produce all the cocoa and then what percentage of the value do we get out of it? So we need our people, our leaders, to start thinking and say, where are the markets? Where are the products that we have competitive advantage? So that first we start with the market. So the Wilma is there. So how do we put a lot more Wilmas together? So that then you start from that. You know that what they need is palm oil, and then you start moving down. And that's the point. It's to make sure that when we do it, we can get the technology. The time where we do the whole and all of that is gone. So that make it attractive such that even the university graduates would want to go into farming, because they know that when they get in there, there's a good market for them. They will be able to produce, it will be bought. We are in the value chain. We're as close as possible to the final consumer. So our people need to start thinking, and then that's where it's not only just the leadership, but our universities. You mentioned the fact that why is it that we had to wait for the Chinese to bring us technology?
After 150
my school,
years.
you know, University of Science and Technology. We've been sitting there for how long? We have had School of Mines for how long? How are we leveraging, you know, on these universities that we have? When you speak to the people in CSR, there's so much information they've put together. How are we able to draw the linkages? And for them, most of these are research institutions too. It's about time they also started employing marketers, so that, you know, they need to market their research findings so that it would be able to attract some funding, so that we'll be able to convert all of these things into things that are tangible, so that we can develop this country. It is knowledge power that really is going to develop us. It's not just the resources, you know, because people have demonstrated it. But definitely it will take leadership, and I pray that, you know, the leaders that we have this time would start looking at. We might have to take some hard decisions. It might mean that all of us as Ghanaians, we might have to sacrifice a bit for the next generation to ensure that we can transform ourselves and do this jump from being hewers of wood into being able to leverage the resources that we have. We are a very rich continent. We're a very rich country, but we're poor. You know, we're poor because we're not adding value to it.
Too poor. I mean, the scientists are always saying that as soon as the world population hits 9 billion, there won't be enough fresh water to go around. And, you know, we are blessed with this commodity. Even in this clear and present danger, there are so many people who just cannot even believe it. So how can we get such a message to go out and say, look, the next generation will be billionaires just from fresh water that they may even export, you know, if they could keep it.
And so I think that's where the interaction between us, the media, and most of these research bodies are critical. Because you see, most of them, they write for their scientific journals and all of that. So they are unable to break the things down into ways that we can understand them. So we need to engage them such that we can draw the linkages. And we also need to get some business people also involved in this conversation. Because as you say, you know, we sit and the Volta River flows into the sea on a constant basis. That's fresh water going in there. Where are our entrepreneurs that can turn that? Because definitely there's a deficit. People need water. So where are people to be able to transform this? We need to start also showing to people the information that we've collected and how, you know, the movements are going and how fast we are deteriorating and where this is going to lead us to. We need models that we can let people see that if we keep on going the way we're going, 5 years, 10 years, this is where we're going to go to. The dinosaurs did not know they were going to go extinct. If they had, they would have protected themselves. But from the way Nanami and you were going, if you do not, we'll become like ancient Ghana. There'll be one time some people will say, oh, there was a country called Ghana, but it'll be ancient. Because once the water goes, once the environment goes, where are we going to live?
How about this Chinese threat or this Chinese diplomacy where they seem to be, tightening the bolts a little bit to see if we'll budge? How much hope or confidence can we put behind government to say, look, my people are still behind me and I'm standing firm?
Well, I think that with all the things that we, the media, are doing, the government should know that. But you see, there's this book that only the paranoid would survive. I think that I've become so paranoid that I think that even some of these Chinese things that we're hearing that they're doing to our people, it's a curveball they're throwing at us. So I would pray, and I'm hoping that the Ministry of Foreign Affairs immediately will start investigating this. But I heard the minister when the question was asked at him, and I like this answer, that he does not even believe that that's what is happening. Let's find it out, because the Chinese people cannot be seen to be targeting people who are doing legitimate business. So we need to also use the various arsenals at our disposal in the international arena to be able to bring this up if really it is happening. And I would urge Ghanaians that if you are Ghanaian and you're going there, you're not going by the books, please, 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 please make sure you live by the books. But it is also true, and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs should be able to find that out, that even in terms of visa provision, they have started tightening it. But you see, we should also not believe that the Chinese think that it's only us who benefit from the relation. It's not a two-way relationship. No. They need a lot of the resources we have in there. It's time we also call the bluff. Yeah. That's why that's one of the things I love about the Nigerians. They would reply in equal measure. And we should not think what's small. The things that we also have. But we need to, and that's why tomorrow we all need to wear red. We need to let the government know that as a people, we are prepared to sacrifice that. If even, let's assume it's what we are hearing about the Chinese is true, we're prepared to sacrifice the pleasures that we get from there.
That's the problem about us. We are not angry enough. We'll sit at home, yes, oh, Ken Akasapa, but we'll never pick his red shirt tomorrow.
No.
Cultivated that habit. Not fight, not break the law. Just something just to show that, listen, I am for a good cause.
It is so important, and that tomorrow, you see, and for all of us, and it's because we live in our comfort zones, and we think, that's why today, my heart went out, where you're sitting and here, a house is being broken into 20, it took 20 minutes, and neighbors were still sitting. That's where we've gotten as a country. We become so docile. Sometimes I think what we call our hospitality as Ghanaians is docility. So docile that sometimes the things are happening. We think, okay, what they will do is, okay, our roads are not good. We ourselves will try and task more, the security. So we'll put long walls and put some barbed wires on there. Water is not coming. I dig a borehole. But see, these things that we're talking about is going to affect you. The water, even your borehole is getting contaminated. The food you're going to buy, are you going to be able to put everything together?
Children will go and play in somebody's
house. So tomorrow my plea to all of us, especially the middle class, is that it's about time we all started, getting some action. Call somebody, tell somebody, wear the red, call your ministers, call your MPs, the people you voted for, especially for those of you who are living in areas where this is happening. Call your chiefs and say to your chief, how can you be Nana and behind your house Galamsey is happening? So if there's any of our chiefs now, because we're serving notice, we're going to do an infographics. We're going to come into your palaces and take drone shots to find out if your palace, your house, where you live in, there's Galamsey happening. Should we call somebody like this Nana? Should we call somebody like this Tommy?
That is a big question. But one thing that maybe we have to add to our course is the Ministry of Education or the Minister of Education should have a program, even if it's not examinable, but one period in a week where children are taught the value of nature. So they grow to love it rather than be policed or legislated to love environment.
Yeah, I think that's a very good point, and I think somebody made it as well. And for us in graphic, it's one of the things that we want to use junior graphic to do. So that we need to start creating columns in there that we start telling the children about the environment and seeing how we can, so that it's something that they have an affinity for. They realize the fact that this is about their today and their tomorrow. And so that they themselves will then tell people that, no, this is not done, this, so that instead of you legislating it, it comes from their inner self. I think that's really an important point. And this battle, the Minister for Education, my schoolmate Napo, you have a job to do. You need
to galvanize. It shouldn't be examinable.
No, it shouldn't.
But at least one period a week.
Exactly. You know what I mean? And let people realize it. And you see, it's the reason why I am sad about tabula rasa, where we've come into Africa and everything foreign has come and said everything we do is wrong. Because, you know, in the past, there were things that we said. Tuesday not going to the farm or going to, you know, it was because of nature, you know, and so it's about time we got our people to appreciate where we are coming from and the fact that it is on this thing that we live. And I think it's a very important point to make, that we need to get the children involved from now, so that by the time they would grow, most of us were lost cause. But from the time they would grow, at least they would grow up with it and say, let's protect it. You know what I mean? And they'll be able to take these decisions and say, you know, this mineral, maybe if we are not able to mine it sustainably, then maybe we should keep it down there.
Well, I think we've gotten to a point where genuinely nobody can come and show us anything to say that, look, because we mine gold, this was our pyramid, or this was our Great Wall of China, where there's no edifice we can show. So I think we have to just go for the gray matter, as Anis Hafa would say, go after the gray matter. But it's been wonderful. No, I still have 3 minutes, so I think I'll give you a closing shot, particularly to the media, so that we don't back down.
Yeah. No, I just want to say to all of us in the media, and then to say to all of us Ghanaians, that see, for us the media, we're a mirror to what you're doing, and we have decided at this stage to take our destinies into our own hands. And we're saying that this is one project that we're here to fight, but it's going to be tough. It's going to be difficult. There are decisions that media owners would have to take. There are decisions that editors will have to take. That, yes, at some point it would sound as if it's becoming boring because it's the same thing we're focusing on. But we need to look at various elements of it. It's the reason why we need to have a program, so that there'll be some variety in it. You know, we'll move from this enforcement stage, we'll move to the point where we need to do very much, you know, some education. But please, this is about Ghana. It's not about any individual. It's about ensuring that there can be a today, not even a tomorrow. So all of us should go. And then tomorrow is Friday. Tomorrow, we want to mark the end of this ultimatum and say that as Ghanaians, a majority of us, we would wear the red. We want to make sure that tomorrow, please, let's remind all of us, our morning shows, let's remind everybody. And then we also want to tell the minister that we want concrete plans. The 5-year plan he has, he needs to tell us what it is, so that we, the media, can also follow it. But the last thing I want to say is to serve notice to everybody who's involved in this Galamsey business, that it does not matter whose ass is God. We will go any ass. Because, you see, what is happening is that if we find you out, once we have the evidence, trust me, we will put it in front of the Daily Graphic.
We'll follow it all the way through. 4th of May is a meeting with CSIR.
Correct.
31st of May.
There's a large event that we're going to do, bringing the various stakeholders together. Yes.
And then 27th of May.
Of April. The Ghana Institute of Engineers have a program.
Meeting.
Yes, exactly.
Well, thank you very much. And if you want a nice shirt like I am wearing, it's 024-366-2001. 024-366-2001. Tati's Fashions. They make my shirts for the show, but it's been wonderful. Thank you very much for watching. Tomorrow we'll be back to do this all over again. And thank you so much. Thank you so much. Good job.